A Russian mineralogist, Leonid Kulik, traveled to the site of the explosion in a 1930 expedition, and the observations of that trip are still considered generally reliable. Kulik believed a giant meteorite had crashed down in the Tunguska site, and hoped to recover iron from it to pay for the expedition, along with the support he'd received from the Soviet Academy of Sciences. It's a story similar to Daniel Barringer's investigation of the meteor crater in Arizona, except that in Kulik's case there was no meteor or impact crater to be found. A later expedition by mineralogist O.A. Kurova recovered both magnetite and globules of various forms of silicate from samples obtained by Kirill Pavlov-Florensky's 1958 expedition. Thousands of tiny, brilliant spheres were found fused together and embedded like pellets in the earth and trees. Globules like these are characteristic of the enigmatic particles produced when meteoroids enter an atmosphere. As we note in the submission to follow, the study of these formations leaves a lot of unanswered questions. These Tunguska globules occurred over a fairly well-defined ellipse, with higher concentrations between 100 to 200 kilometers to the northwest of the epicenter. Florensky suggested that this distribution might be explained by fallout downwind of the high-altitude explosion. Now, most astronomers today figured the destruction was caused by either a small comet or asteroid bursting a few miles off the surface, with estimates putting the object around 100 meters in diameter. According to the calculations of Christopher Chiba of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland, only a stony meteorite would explode at 10 kilometers up, where the Tunguska blast is thought to have occurred. However, a comet of that size would disintegrate much higher in the atmosphere, causing less damage on the ground. Yet over 100 years later, scientists still argue over several unexplained facts, and to this day no trace of the impacting object has ever been found. If a group of experts cannot agree for almost 100 years, it's probably a third option, says Wolfgang Kuhn, an astrophysicist from the University of Bonn, Germany. Andrei Kovatov, an independent Russian physicist who was intrigued by the Tunguska event, agrees that the impact theory leaves too many unanswered questions. He points out witnesses reporting strange weather and increased seismic activity in the area for days before the event. Now, this absence of any coherent explanation has invited plenty of speculation from the mainstream. Everything from a miniature black hole passing through the Earth to antimatter bombs going off in the night. UFOs, extraterrestrial weaponry, even a theory about Tesla's death ray have been introduced to explain the unexplained. But guess what they left out? Once again, the electrical force, the one single force that allows for a unified solution that doesn't need to leave out any fields of evidence.